Tills Talanoa had 2 tries, 5 tackle busts, 150 metres, 2 clean breaks. Josh Griffin, 2 tries, 9 tackle busts, 141 metres, 4 clean breaks. Scotty Taylor, a try and 141 metres. And Carlos Tuimavave, 2 try assists, 5 tackle busts, 138 metres, and 3 successful offloads. In the Catalan Grey, it was Tony Gigo with a try and 113 metres. Sam Moa with a try assist and 108 metres against his former club. Ben Garcia, 42 tackles. Jason Battieri, 45 tackles.
There we go. So everything on that one?
Yep. Fully wrapped.
So moving across the greatest city to the other side, we get to Hull KR 6, St Helens 30 in front of 7,724 and refereed by Mr. Liam Moore.
Not a bad crowd for a Friday night.
That's very good. Friday night when
long trip for the away fans, so you can't imagine there was tons of them. I think great crowd, great effort by everyone that was there, I'd say. We have Frogmore.
Yeah, especially with the other lot playing at the other side of the city as well.
Yeah, we have Frogmore starting the reviews. He said, "We give the Rovers plenty of chances in this game to post points, but it was almost as if the Saints made a point to show we had defence and that we're not all attack this season after the piss-poor effort last week. But in the end, the scoreline was, as we thought, not a bad warm-up for Good Friday."
And St David said, Saints started... Saints started this game as they finished the last, trying to play without earning the right. Once the forwards got stuck in, we looked much better. Defence was back to its best and needed to be, as Rovers played some lovely stuff at times. Roby, the dominator, improving every week under Holbrook, and Benny Barber, while the difference for Saints, bring on the pies.
I think that by the dominator he means either
the pizza
Dominic
from Domino's
or more likely I would guess Luke Thompson, but who knows.
So yeah, I mean, it was as you expected to an extent. I mean, if anything, KR doing well to keep St Helens to 30, the vein, the form they've been in. Certainly, there's a couple of ones that looked particularly stoppable from the defence, though, of the Saints' tries. Certainly, the first try looked very poor defence, I have to say.
Yeah, well, both the tries by forwards looked like they could have been preventable, but Luke Thompson's so good at the moment that I'd say is hard to stop. And Dominic Peru, that came when I think your side had been reduced to no interchanges left and maybe even 12 men on the field because of how many head checks were getting carried out at the time. So it was, I mean, he put a really nice step on and I thought, wow, that was amazing. And then I found out he did it against a busted up side late in the game and I thought, maybe it wasn't quite that amazing. But Peru is certainly a better player this year than he was this time last year for St Helens. So yeah, I get what you're saying about those two. The injuries is the big takeaway, I'd have thought, from the whole perspective, given that they kept St Helens to 30 points and they were reasonably competitive for most of the first half as well, really, going in 14-6 down, but serious injury to George Law that you can touch on in a second. Heffernan, Kavanagh, Maguire all had head checks. Maguire's looks potentially serious because he was taken away for further assessment almost straight away, but the real, I mean, so that's a big blow if he's going to be out, but the real serious injury is George Lawler, double ankle break. Everything's shot down there for him. We won't see him again this year, I suppose. No,
I mean that's one that will take a fair bit of comeback. Potentially, you would see him towards the very end of the season, but I think it's the sort of thing that will take a fair while, as much just to be able to get him back to running before he's even close to ready to contact at that point. So it is going to be another loss. Obviously, someone in the starting team, so that's another one. And with Maguire, potentially you've got to assume out possibly then for Good Friday as well because of by the time he's done all the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite an interesting one because that's going to really put us down a few men on that one. But
and if Lunt can't get his leg isn't right for Easter, which no one was expecting it to be, if he can't rush something back, then there's a real dearth of leadership around the key positions there as well, which is a bit of a concern.
Well, you've basically just got, Adam Quinlan left from the starting spine, haven't you?
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
at that point.
He was good in this one. When we get to the stats, we'll see that he had another impressive performance against one of his former sides. Do you have anything else to pick out on this other than obviously Ben Barber looked good, Luke Thompson looked good, what we've been seeing so far this year?
No, from a couple of friends that I saw on Facebook, they just said that if anything, they were impressed, at keeping it to just 30 points, and that Saints, that in their opinion, were the best side they'd seen this year, and I thought they were going on. So shout out to Gemma for that one.
Fair enough, good stuff. In terms of the stats then, tackling ability seems to have been a crucial aspect of this game. Hull KR were down at 87% as a team, Saints over 6.5 better as a team. Saints also edged the average gain and errors. Even more crucially, Saints took their chances better. It was 5-1 in tries from an 8-5 break count, so for the Rovers, 1 try from 5 breaks isn't a great conversion rate, but it does give some positivity for Saints' covering defence, though, to be able to get back behind that one. Individually, Ben Barber 2 tries, 7 tackles, 3 offloads. James Roby with another absolutely huge dream team performance. 2 try assists, 54 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, 5 tackle busts, 137 metres, 3 successful offloads. Tommy Makinson, a try assist, 130 metres, 2 clean breaks. And Mark Percival, 5 tackle busts and 106 metres. For the losing Robins, it was Ryan Shaw with a try, 111 metres, 2 clean breaks. He also had a try ruled out early doors. Rob Mulhern impressed again with 128 metres. Justin Carney, his typical kick returning 132 metre effort there. And Adam Quinlan, 5 tackle busts and 162 metres. The final game of the weekend was the one that I was at on Friday night. It was another one-sided game. It ended Wigan 48, Huddersfield 10 in front of 10,641. And Scott Michalauskas was the referee. We had a couple of fan views in on this one, Tim.
Yeah, at White Pie said another solid performance for Wigan against a clueless Hud side who played like Wigan did for most of 2017, side to side with no cutting edge. 3 tries for the Golden Edge, and Sutton was man of the match for me. Best game for him in 18 months.
Yeah, certainly putting himself in the shop window with his highlight reel there. David Lawrenson said, Huddersfield were awful. I'm a Wigan fan, but I do not enjoy watching Wigan winning games against such inept teams. With their players, Huddersfield should be a much more competitive team than on Friday night. Huddersfield were you just said some of your friends who were at Craven Park on Friday night said that Saints were the best team they've seen this year. Huddersfield is certainly the worst team I've seen in the flesh this year. I'd be shocked if Rick Stone lasted the season, let alone got a new deal based on what I saw this week and last week from them. But of course, that is a very small sample size. But they really were not a good team. Again, the halfbacks looked like they were playing totally separate games. Without Ikehefo, who was not fit for this one, they lacked sort of that 1-2 punch in the front row, so they were not competitive in the forwards, and their only tries really came off a really good piece of Jermaine McGilvery play, where he jumped really high to get an intercept to stop what would have been a try the other way. And
do you think he's lost a yard over the off season?
Jerry?
He just looked certainly to a couple of games now. He's just looked a little bit slow. I don't know if it's just perception.
I think he had an extra gear he could have kicked into if he really had to when he scored that breakaway try. I think. So I'm not sure about that, but he will have lost some pace now because he's one of the injuries I'm going to get onto as the sort of mitigating factor for Huddersfield. Huddersfield's other try was a deflected kick, which kind of landed fortuitously. Because other than that, their kicking game, apart from a 5-minute spell in the first half where they forced 3 goal line dropouts and made nothing of those occasions other than another goal line dropout, their kicking game was really poor in this one. All sort of short kicks in the middle of the pitch that Danny Brough tried were not good enough at all, and a lot of his attacking kicks kind of were quite easy to defend too. But yeah, the mitigating thing for Huddersfield and how bad they were was the injuries. Ikehefo and Oliver Roberts were ruled out before the game, and they've been very good players for the Giants this season. Then in the game, Sam Wood got a knee injury, although I'm not sure that's necessarily a weakening of their side. Given by that point, Wigan had already scored a couple of tries over his side of the pitch, and then Dale Ferguson never came back in the second half, and he's been really good for Huddersfield this year. Stats line pretty much every week. And Jerry got an ankle injury, which looked pretty nasty. He was down for a long time before they took him off. He wasn't, he was trying to walk on it, but it wasn't
recoverable.
Right. He couldn't really put his full weight on it and stuff. So that's a worry for them and for my dream team with the Easter weekend coming up. But that is the mitigation for Huddersfield. That's the only mitigation you can offer in what was a miserable display. Wigan, conversely, there was no need for worrying about injuries from Wigan. What Wigan were doing was able to take people off, and they finished with Sam Tompkins, Sean O'Loughlin and George Williams all on the sideline, and Joel Tompkins playing at 6, and even then they still were able to create an overlap outside Joel Tompkins when he got the ball to Escaray, who'd gone from scrum half to fullback when Tompkins went off, and he was able to throw a cut-out ball for Joe Burgess' second try. All of Wigan's Thomas Luluai, Sam Powell, who was exceptional in this game, whether he was at hooker or at scrum half, and in fact probably a bit better at scrum half, Sam Tompkins and George Williams all had 2 try assists in this game, and Morgan Escaray had 1 try assist in this game. So all the pivots, no matter where they were popping up, were helping create things for their teammates in this game. And Wigan were scoring fall over the line tries, they were scoring passing it through hands tries, they were scoring tries from kicks. We would have scored a try from a break in the middle of the field if Liam Farrell hadn't been pulled back for an offside by the defending team, because the referee thought he was getting tackled, but he broke the tackle just as the whistle was blown. But then on I think pretty much the next set after that, Oliver Gildart went over for a try anyway, so it was easily forgotten. And John Bateman's try just before half-time was another occasion. Actually, this time, Mikalauskas held his whistle when Tompkins was pulled back by Brough, and Tompkins was able to sort of, after he did a little chip through, I don't know if it's in the highlights, he did a little chip through, was going to regather it and probably score, but he didn't because of the tug from Brough. But as he went to ground, Tompkins had the foresight to bat the ball back with his hand into Bateman, who made it an easy finish to take it to 28-4 at half time. And Sam Tompkins' goal kicking in the first half was very good. We didn't need him so much in the second half. George Williams scored a really decent individual try, and Wigan were as complete as they've been this year, and Huddersfield were not a good prospect.
Most important question, where were you in relation to the cowbell?
Well, I was in the same ground as it, so I was too close to it. But no, to be fair, they went quiet on the cowbell for periods. I think they realised what they were seeing, and it wasn't really a cowbell kind of occasion. But look, they don't have many fans, so I guess if they can create some atmosphere, even if it's absolutely ear-destroyingly painful, then you got to credit him a little bit for that. But it's not my idea of atmosphere. But neither was the Wigan fans, to be honest, on Friday night. It was a quiet crowd because we won so convincingly. We scored on our first set of the game, and we never really looked under threat because, like I say, the try they scored was an intercept that stopped us scoring a try the other way anyway.
Can you imagine though if you turn up first game of the season, you're a season ticket holder, you move seats, whatever, you sit down, and then behind you is that guy smacking away on the cowbell. That must be the point where you just think, oh, here we go.
I mean, I wouldn't put up with it, but I guess they've got used to it. I don't know.
Because it's all you could hear on the highlights, same as I don't know if it's got loud, but all you could hear on the highlights, and of course on last week's game, was just this bang, 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 bang. And it's like, all right, we get the point. You're there. Well done.
Yeah, and credit to the few dozen that were there. I'm just disappointed that one of them was the cowbell guy. But anyway,
you can pick anyone else. We'll give you 10 other people for free if you just don't bring him in.
I hope Huddersfield can get some of the players back anyway, because they look a much better team when they've got Mamo at fullback, and they've got Ikehefo in that front line. Certainly.
Do need less shampoo though without Jake Mamo.
I don't think he always washes his hair. I think he likes to get the motorcycle oil grease into his hair to feel like more rugged and stuff. I think so. So he probably only washes once a week, if that. On the team stats, although average gains and tackle success was pretty even, Wigan won by a huge 513 more metres.